Okay, well here it is. The big art studio tour you've all been waiting for. I'm sorry it's taken me so long, but let's go ahead and get started. So, here is the entrance to my studio. Right now I've got a bunch of plants out here, but this is my swing that I sit in and think, meditate, come up with sketching ideas, whatever. Well, let's go inside. I still don't have my front porch done. As you can see, there's still a lot to do. We're going to have a walkway coming up through this way, and I plan on having it be somewhat rustic with some plants on either side and that kind of thing. That'll probably come next year. We've been waiting months for our excavator, and we keep getting put off on that. And then also our house, that we needed our deck put on the front, new porch put on the back, new roof done. He was supposed to come like in March or April. That never happened because of COVID. And now here we sit and we wait, and we are like the last to get it. Diesel, are you over there? Something's walking behind me. Well, I hope that's him. So, let's go on in. Here is what it looks like when I come through the front door. And here I'll start with my work area. My Rascod card is always a mess because I'm always using it for things. So that's where I store everything that I use frequently. Of course, you all have seen my Robax palette, and I love that. The only thing, somebody was asking me for follow-up, and I will do a follow-up, but right now the only thing that I really don't care for is the depth of the wells, but it's really not a big deal. And of course, you have all seen the view out my windows where I work, which is very nice. This is my filming light. It's a Diva ring light, photography light. And what it does is it diffuses shadows. So you get light all the way around. And when I'm filming, then I don't have an issue with shadows on my paper. This is my shaky unipod right now that I use for my camera. I used to have a really terrific one that never shook, but you can't find them anymore. So I don't know. Now I'm just going to go ahead and go around the room and show you everything in my studio. So if you don't want to see that and you want to drop out now is your chance. Up here is where I have a ton of storage, as you know, and then also there's a ton of storage on this side. I still need to put the ladder in, which is going to be more like a stairway on a bar that will roll across, and then the stairway will be on casters, and hopefully we'll have a railing for me. But let's go ahead. I'm going to start out with this side. This cabinet here, excuse my little mess here. I have an old sheet that I decided to tear up for painting rags, so it's sitting in my chair. My drawers have not been cleaned out, so just bear with me. In here, I house a lot of my pens, my pencils. This is a thicker pencil. My glass dip pen, one of them, more pens, microns and stuff, notepads, pencil leads, more pencils. So I keep a lot of that stuff down here. Over here is where I keep all of my ink for my fountain pens. I have several 4 colors and noodlers. Then I have, I forget what this one's called, but it's Emerald of Shabar or something like that. Then I have my platinum carbon inks, which seem to be my favorite because they dry the fastest. Then I use these little cups for diluting inks at different values so that when I'm doing an ink wash, I can have different values of ink. But you have to make sure you're not using waterproof ink or you're going to have a problem. And then in this, I keep all of my my extra cartridges for my fountain pens, and then my syringe for filling. Then over here in this container, I have all of my extra inks that I have bought for their sample inks. And they come in like 2 or 3 ml samples, which is really nice. I have a lot of Diatramentis inks, different colors, pinks, purples, greens, all sorts of stuff that I was playing around with. Some are permanent ink, some are not permanent ink, but they're good. You can buy them on, was it Jet Pens that sells those? I wonder if it says on here. They're really good to have, though. It doesn't say. It does not say. One of the pen companies does it. I think it was Jet Pens, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody else may know. You can write it in the comments below. So that's this drawer. And then, of course, my drawer doesn't close currently because I have this hooked on. Eventually, it will come off, and Pat's going to build me something for the side of this cabinet. And down here, I have lots of Kleenex that I use. Actually, that's my bottom drawer. This shouldn't even be in here. I just have some extra tapes, some of my fountain pens that are down here, some of my cheap fountain pens that were given to me by one of my YouTube subscribers and Instagram friends who passed away not too long ago. Last year, he had committed suicide, and it was very sad. His name was Tom, and I miss him a lot. But I keep these pens in my case just because I don't like them to get scratched up. One's a ballpoint Kaweco Sport, and the other one is a fountain pen Kaweco Sport. This is my favorite pastel pen. A lot of people ask me about it. Not my favorite because it's slippery, and it's so oval that my hand slides. This is just different for me, but it's okay. Down on the bottom, I have more junk. I have all that Kleenex I told you about. This in here are my postcards that I use when I'm sending out paintings. It has a picture of one of my pieces of artwork on it, and then I write my note on the back. And then I have this one as well. These were both pastel paintings that I had done years ago. And next time I probably won't put my name on the front of them. That way they can frame it as a print if they'd like to. And I just have miscellaneous stuff in here. Some containers, some watercolor pencils. I think those are Artezas. And some of my wax linen thread for making books and that kind of thing. Things have kind of been all mixed up. Eventually, I'm going to go through my drawers again and get them all cleaned, but I just needed to get moved in. Here, I just have some of my journaling stuff, some extra pill vials for water when I'm using them for sketching. Those are my sketching bottles that I use for my paint water. This is my portable printer for it's an Instax. And this is the printer, and it makes Polaroid photos. So I keep that in there. And there's extra film, and I don't know, those are some extra things for journaling. I also have a hole punch there. Down here I have my paper cutters, some more, some brush holders, extension cord, that kind of thing, water bottle. And then down on the bottom, Pat just took a drawer that he glued yesterday, so it's not there, but I have my old watercolor palette, and then a bunch of my porcelain palettes that stay down here, as well as a couple plastic palettes. And I pull them out as needed. So that's that area. I'm trying to do this fast so it's not too boring. Up here is where I keep the current watercolor paper that I'm using. This is mostly cotton watercolor paper. Here's my Stonehenge. I have some Canson Moulin de Roy. There's some Bockingford in there. That's not cotton. Then I have some of my cut up bee paper, my black Stonehenge, a bunch of Saunders Waterford and more Arches blocks down there. Then in this drawer, I keep a ton of my portable, or my small watercolor palettes. Some of these I reviewed for people. This is just a cheap, I don't know, it was like $4 or $5 little thing. It's actually kind of pearlescent colors, though. They're Jack Richardson paints. They're not bad paints, actually, for a craft, or it says artist. They're semi-moist watercolors. and they're not too bad. But, you know, they're student variety. Very cheap, though, if you're looking for something cheap. Then I have all those palettes that I showed you. I've got some gouache palettes down here. Schminke. Oops, I'm sorry, you guys. I dropped you. And various other palettes that are all going all the way back to the back. And then I got this new palette that I have not used yet, and I really liked the way it looked, although the plastic was kind of, it seems like a plastic that could crack easy if you ever dropped your palette. But it's a nice small palette. It's got another flip-out tray, and I liked it because as a lefty, I could still use it on my right hand this way, which I thought was nice. Normally, a right-handed person would use it in this direction with their left hand. But the thing that I liked was that it didn't matter which way you used it, because on both sides of these wells there is a lip, and on my other palettes there isn't. So when they're like this one, which is going to be a mess, I'm sorry. This one you can see only has the lip on one side and then it's smooth on the other, which is preferable. But they don't do them for lefties, so that's kind of a bummer. Then on the bottom, I don't even know what I have down here. Oh, I've got my Kilimanjaro paper that I was looking for. This is 300 pound, so it's like cardboard. Very stiff. You can hear how stiff it is. Oh, there's some student Fabriano paper and some other paper down here. I'm not sure what that is. Probably, it's not arches, maybe bee paper, I'm not sure. But anyway, and I just have some various other things down here. And then I do keep a few things underneath my thing that won't fit anywhere else. Over here I have these white little carts that I took the wheels off of. They used to be in my old studio. Sorry for the blinking, it's my fan. But there's really not much for you to see in there. Then up here, excuse me, I keep a lot of my brushes. Most of my watercolor brushes that I'm not using currently, they just sit right there, and if I need them, I'll come grab them. My favorite brushes sit over here, and these are the ones that I use all the time. And then when I'm done using a brush, this is where I dry them. I got this little thing on Amazon. I forget what it was for. It was probably for a like a cosmetic stand or something like that, and I used it for a brush holder. And then my King Art brushes I keep in the back over there and over there. I also keep a sponge here for drying off brushes on. It's nice to have. Then when it gets dirty, I just flip it to the next side. When it's dirty on all four sides, then I go ahead and wash it. I always keep a little bit of white gouache over here on this side so that I have it handy. And then pencils and erasers. And then this is just a Lazy Susan that I use. And back at my other studio, when I was using a banquet table, I had two of these, and I separated the brushes I currently use from the brushes I wasn't using as often. And this was great because I could spin everything around and just use it that way, which was really nice. Over here, I've kind of made a collage of some of my paintings. I get a lot of people coming through my studio, so it's nice that they get to see what I'm painting. Currently, and you guys have seen most of these paintings I've done videos on. So, and this was my most recent one. You guys saw that one. And then this chickadee painting you've seen. And back here, let me move that away. I have this thing that I've had for years, and I'm not really using it. It just houses a lot of markers and things that I rarely use. So I need to clean it out, put all that stuff away in boxes, and then use it for stuff that I would like to use, like maybe put all my brushes in here. That would be the smart thing to do. In fact, I'm going to do that. That's a great idea, Sharon. In here I keep all my Prismacolor pencils. They're all put away by color so that I can find them easily. And then I go into fountain pens of various kinds. And then my ink tents. This is a small set of ink tents that I had. I have a box of 72 in another area. And then some of my ink tents sticks or whatever, blocks. More fountain pen stuff. more fountain pen stuff and China markers and more various pens. So that's that. Over here is my new vanity that I was waiting on. I got my water hooked up the other day, and I also have more paintings up here. Hi, you guys. My frog painting you guys saw on Instagram. Some of these were videos, and this one was not because it was taken from another YouTuber's photo reference, and I liked it, so I used it. Oh, let's see. Down here, I keep my water pot heater. It's an instant water heater, and my French press so that I can make myself coffee if I want to. I've got my watering can and fertilizer and some vases and stuff like that, and then an extra box. I keep extra boxes down here that I use for storage. This was from my Google Wi-Fi. These boxes are great. They're very heavy duty, so I like to use them for storage. I have one used already that I have all my gouache in, or most of my gouache, the gouache that I use constantly. In here, just have some towels and old towels from like my cottage before we moved up here. So now I've got all that in here, basically, or some of it. And then this is some of my tea and honey and that kind of thing. And down here, more various stuff. And down here, I don't think I have anything yet. So that's that. Okay, then over here it gets a little bit messy. I really don't have a place to put this stuff currently. I have all of my canvases and extra papers and stuff all back here. This is currently three more rolls of bee paper that I bought because it was on sale at Jerry's Artorama for $37. So if you want it, go to Jerry's Artorama to get it. I have canvases back here. I've got to do a painting for somebody. This is a huge one. I've been putting off for a year. They knew that we were moving though, and they're friends. So, but it's going to be an oil painting, and that's not my best medium, so I get a little nervous about it. And go back and forth on whether or not I should do that or just do a large watercolor and have them frame it. But anyway, there's more canvases back there and more watercolor paper. On this card, I just have various things in this basket, some lights and stuff like that, old paintings. Down here on this, I used to keep this in the closet at my other studio on a shelf off to the side, and this has lots and lots of pens and pencils. I have my extra erasers from my electric eraser. This is another portable watercolor kit that has everything in it. I got it at Cheap Joe's. It's kind of cute. But it's stiff. I used to use it years ago. This zips all the way down. It's like a purse almost. You can carry it over your shoulder. I guess guys could carry it too. But then inside it's got a spot for your brushes. I can put my travel brushes in there. Spot for a spray bottle. Then you've got two water cans on either side, these little water jars. There's two collapsible cups. And then there's a little palette that goes on the bottom down here, which is in that drawer. And it's metal also. So I have that, and I don't use it. I forget that I have it. Had some large adult washcloths that I used for oil painting. Brushes. There's, I don't know what that is, some sort of stationery. Some willow charcoals. More, these are napkins that I used for journaling and stuff like that. Some magnetic clips. Tons of pens. Uniball rollers, I like those. Those are nice. My Mars Lumograph pencils. Some more white pens. And some more microns. Stuff like that. So, and then I have this here I was going to make a watercolor palette out of. I have not done yet. So there's lots of different stuff in here. Another pen. Some stumps for blending. Things like that. Then in this bag here, this is a rolling bag. I have my oil painting supplies, my pochade box. This is an awesome pochade box. I did a review on it a few years back, probably about 5 years ago now, and I use it for oil painting. It's very expensive. It was custom made. It's about $400 or something, but I really like it. I think what I'm going to do is switch it over to a gouache pochade rather than my oils. Okay, then down here I have a bunch of mats for matting my paintings. They're all in different sizes and in boxes so they're protected, and then some old acrylic paint that I haven't been using recently. And for those of you who are going to say, you should give all that away, I do give plenty of things away to my great niece, who is a budding artist. She's 6. She gets a lot of my stuff. Here is my vintage machine. I have a tabletop easel down here, and some paintings, and then another book. These Blick books I get for, they're like portfolio books, and I put my paintings in them to protect them. Up here I have a lot of craft paint, acrylic craft paint that I use occasionally. I used them to paint those Marys and the gargoyle and stuff, and then went over them with polyurethane, so it worked well. Over here I have all of my sketchbooks, or a lot of my sketchbooks that I have finished. They're all over the place, and then some regular books as well. Then, oh yeah, I showed you that. Okay, then coming over here, I got a couple boxes that need to go into my house. I have a dog. And in this is a antique dresser that I've had since I was a child, but it was my grandparents or great-grandparents, I forget who, and I just recently bought some really cute little knobs to put on them, so I really like it. But in here I just have various things. There's some CDs. I have some kalimba holder cases, things like that. And then down here, some more bags and plastic pallets and things like that. I give those away usually, or keep them for classes and that kind of thing. Then over here is the shelf that you guys remember from my other studio, and it's got a lot of souvenir type things in there, memorabilia that means something to me, like the Beanie Babies were from my kids when they were young. The bear was from my husband when we were in the Smoky Mountains. There's my hubby. That's when we were young. And then my kids when they were teenagers. They're all grown up now, but yeah, my mom and dad on the left, my uncle and his wife on the right. So all of these are sentimental, and then this was from Tom Blanchard, the guy I was telling you about that died, that gave me a lot of the fountain pens. He used to send me gifts. It was really nice. Then over here are some of my journals that have been filled. Like this, I paint the covers and then I would cover them with book tape. I made my own books. So they're all filled and put in here. And I just got them out of order, but that's okay. And then I have a lot of Pentalic books that are new that I have not yet started, so I'm set with journals for a while. I got a lot of those when I was an affiliate with them. I'm no longer an affiliate of theirs, so that is over. But then I have another big Strathmore book here that I started and never finished. And then I have this box here. This was a journaling box that I used to put stickers in and stuff like that. It's by Montmartre. You can get it online. This opens to the side. This pulls open for stickers. Got more stickers inside. This side pulls open. You can put whatever you want in there. Pens, brushes, paints. It's really a cool box. There's a drawer down here. It's empty right now. Used to use it for journaling. Then below that is my full box of Rembrandt soft pastels. I got this as a find at an estate sale for $185. Totally unused, full set of Rembrandt pastels. There's 4 tiers of pastels. Let me show you. So you open it up and the paperwork was still inside. but I've used some of these pastels, so now they're used, but they have tier after tier after tier after tier of them. There's so many. So I've got 4 or 5 tiers. This is number 2, that's number 3. Yeah, there's 4 tiers, and it's the full set. Every color they make. Maybe they've got a few more colors now, I don't know, but I'm thinking I've got them all. So yeah, so I need to get back to pastel painting. I got a ton of pastels here. That was such a great find. My husband actually saw it when he was watching estate sales for other things, and it said art supplies, so he said, you ought to go check it out. So I went, and they wouldn't open the art room. They said that they weren't sure, that they had changed their mind and weren't sure if they were going to sell any of the art supplies. And I thought, well, shoot. I drove all the way over here, waited in line in the rain to come in and check it out. And I was like the 12th person in or something. I was standing out there waiting because you get a number and you go in that way. And they'd let so many people in the house at one time because they have security that watches estate sales and that kind of thing. So I went in and I thought, well, I'll just start looking around, see if there's anything I like. I got a couple porcelain cheese plates that were white that I could use for painting, mixing trays. And then I saw this pastel set and I was like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Actually, no, I asked about it. My husband said they have a pastel set, brand new. So I asked, where's the pastel set that's brand new? And the guy said, oh, it's right over here under the table. Nobody knew what it was. They didn't know. They didn't care. So I got it. I asked the guy, well, how much are you asking for it? $185. I said, sold. Sold! Because they're like $1,400 for the full set, I believe. Maybe more now. Back here is my mess. I have my umbrella for plein air painting. I have my Plein Air Pro easel and everything for plein air painting. I've got some backpacks, a broom. My little old electric broom vacuum needs to find a place too. Down here I have more pastels. These are different brands all mixed together. When I moved, I had to put that sign on that says very expensive, fragile, so that nobody would drop it. And then in this cabinet I have, well, there's a bunch of different various little things up there that you don't really care to see. I have all of my painting mediums up here, stuff for pastels, for acrylics, for oils, for everything. I think this is linseed oil or something. Yeah, I got some more acrylic paints. Tri-Arts are from Canada. I have lots of inks. I've got my P.H. Martin watercolors and India inks, Tombow markers, and some more paints, Murphy's oil soap, which I use to clean my oil brushes with. Over here are a bunch of various pencils and watercolor pencil sets, all the Prima marketing sets. I reviewed those when they had first come out. Prismacolor sets, all sorts of stuff. I don't know what this Prismacolor thing is under here. That looks like Prismacolor too. One's colored pencils for portraits. That's what it was. My graphic tint and my Neocolor, Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2s are down there as well. Water-soluble graphite and some other stuff. Then I have some watercolor pencils here, book tape. That's how I covered those journals from over there. Various things. This is Pelican watercolors that I reviewed years and years ago. My Twinkling H2Os and my Gonzai Tombi watercolors are in here. Some extra jars, more extra jars, alcohol inks, all sorts of stuff. Now, down below here is a real mess. This basically, I need to clean these drawers out. I have some boxes that I use for like pastels and stuff. Some film for my iPad. I've got a bunch of these Magello watercolor palettes. And sometimes if somebody gives me a card and they don't write on the front and they don't seal it, then I use it for a greeting card for somebody else. Here's another one I received. This one I think I got from a Doodle and Sketch box. Then I have some of this paper, this vellum paper for kind of painting and crafting. Lots of stencils, stuff like that all in here. Then down below is more watercolor paper that I don't use, like wood pulp paper that I'm not really using and that kind of thing. Over here, and then when I do have visitors like my little great niece and my great nephews and stuff, if they want to draw, I pull out my cheaper watercolor paper for them. Then over here I have lots of priority mailboxes for sending things out to customers or giveaway winners. This is more, these are 16 by 20 mats, I believe, and I gotta pull that bag up over them because I don't want them to get dirty. Over here I have musical instruments on top, many that I've used. That one's an antique that was my grandfather's. I just kept it. I want to hang it on my wall. But my drum tambourine, my rain stick, some kalimbas. I've got lots of kalimbas, and my sweet potato flute. My good flute is I keep in my house where I know it's not going to get stolen because it's like 13 grand. It's solid gold, so I don't let anybody get near it. And then I have some tank drums. There's a happy drum there. That's a key of C, and this I believe is a D minor drum. I don't know if anybody's familiar with them, but they're fun to play music on, like so I just make stuff up and play that. I'm a musician, so, and then kalimbas. I play those too. Got to have two hands for that. That painting my sister wants, so I'm probably going to be giving that to her. Then I have all my oil brushes down there. Oh, I forgot this area here. More stuff in here. Papers, books. This book is where I usually put all of my watercolor palette information, the colors that I own, like the core colors, the Primatech colors. I've got more of those now. Prima Marketing, there's the Tropicals, and something else underneath that. Renaissance. There's lots of different ones that I have here. And I just put them in here as I get them. This was from my recent video on watercolors. I stuck those in there so I would have a quick look at the colors. And then some old stationery my mom had given me. I haven't used because I make a lot of my own stationery. There's other stuff down here, some boxes and things for filming and that kind of stuff. And then down on the bottom here is where this looks really messy too. I keep a lot of my oil painting supplies, everything that's in there, some of my bowls and that kind of thing. That's all in there. Then over here is a bunch of my oil brushes and other brushes that I'm not using. This one's full of brushes, and I've got tons of brushes here. Old brushes that I don't use anymore, all sorts of stuff. If I don't throw them away, I use them for various things, like when I was making that create sign the other day. Whoops, I'm sorry, you guys. I just glued, I took one of those old brushes and used it for the wood glue, and then I threw it away, so it was nice. Then my big giant gesso, gallon of gesso that I have not been using. I used to use it a lot for mixing my own medium for pastel, making sanded pastel paper. You can buy acrylic ground for pastel, or you can use gesso and pumice. Way in the back is different grain sizes of pumice, and you can make your own ground. It's a little difficult to do, though. It's hard to get it super smooth. Then moving along over here, underneath my television, my aquarium, I have this cabinet here, and in it I have various things. Some old gouache and watercolor palettes. This one has a ton of ribbon that I use for cards. Also have a color wheel that I pull out when I need to explain something or whatever. I have a bunch of punches in here back from when I used to make greeting cards like 20 years ago. So I have a lot of that stuff. And then the stamps that I used for my greeting cards. There's one drawer. I mean, they go all the way to the bottom. There's tons of stamps in here. More stamps. Those are mostly Christmas sentiments. This is more Christmas sentiments. And I used to make all my Christmas cards by hand. Now I just paint one and I send it to the printer. It's a lot easier. And then there's more there. Some of them I bought recently, like this one. I love this one. And I got that recently for journaling. I really liked it. And I got more here. And I don't know if I have them more here. Yep, there's more in here. And then on the bottom, more. So I have a ton of stamps. So that's where they all live. And over here on this cart, I have some pots that I was doing some planting in here with, and then some candles that need to be used up. Here's my create sign that I've got to put up today. I just got to put the eye screws in the back and wire it, and then I'm going to be hanging it up over here. I'll try to post a photo of it at the end of the video. Then over in this corner, on this side, I have a couple of drawers, and in the top, I keep some pastels. This is more Rembrandt pastels that I got from a doodle and sketch box. I'm telling you guys, when you get these things, these are worth a ton of money. And there's more down here, but the thing is broken, so I'd have to tip it to show you. Some Derwent pastel pencils that were from a doodle and sketch box. Some more soft charcoal, willow charcoal, white charcoal pencils. I use those for that right there when I did that painting, pastel painting or drawing, whatever you want to call it. Pastel painters call it painting. So then I have my Polychromos pencils and my Caran d'Ache pencils that I just recently bought. You guys saw those. And my 72 Inktense pencils. My kids' first communion and baptism candles. Down here, I have more pastels. These are all Prismacolor sets of 36. I ended up with 2 of them because one of them got lost, or they came broken, that's what it was, and Amazon sent me another set for free. So I ended up with 2 sets. And then I have my 96 set, which holds all their colors. And yeah, there's a couple of tiers in there. And I love the Prismacolor new pastels. They're really nice. These are the Derwent pastel pencils. I got the Woodbox set of those. Then I have some fine tip pens here and here. This was a set that I received in some art box. This one was. It might have been a sketch box. It was like one of the only things I liked of theirs. And then some pan pastels that I wanted to try. And pan pastels are nice. I wasn't used to that because I use pastels the normal way, so it's kind of different. Down below I have a Xyron machine for doing cold laminating. These are boxes to put pastels in for travel. And more pastel stuff down here, sponges and things. I've got some gloves that I use for pastel painting so my hands don't dry out. An envelope maker, a light box, and some more ribbon. I made a ribbon box years ago, and I put dowels through, and then I just put my ribbon on the inside, and you can pull it out. So if you're looking for a way to handle your ribbon, that's what I do. So I have that, and I just covered it with some scrapbook paper. It was a shoebox or something, I think. Oops, now I can't get it back in. Okay, moving on. This other one over here, I gotta move this out of the way here a little bit. This ugly painting is going to my girlfriend. She said she wanted it, so. Over here I have my Copic marker set. I keep them, I store them on their sides so that they lay flat. And then this is a little box that I got for them It velcros and opens on the sides so that you can flip them out. Hang on, you guys. It's hard to do one-handed. There we go. So all of my markers, I don't have that many. All of my markers are in here. I bought one set, I believe, and then some of them I acquired through different subscription boxes that would come. And then this is some marker paper from a doodle and sketch box that I was using. Oh, and there's one of the videos that I did. That was a marker thing that I did. But I got a lot of room for more markers. I got like 3 or 4 more slots that I can use. And I try to keep them in numerical order so that I can find the correct value when I need them. And behind that I have some more alcohol markers, and here on the left this entire box is filled with other markers. And then some of my gouache paints that I don't use as often. All of my watercolors, you've seen these. I use tea boxes to store my watercolors. This is a tube squeezer to get all the paint out, but I put all of my watercolors in here. This has my reds and yellows and a few of my earth tones, some of my iridescent colors. Then over here I've got my mission golds, and then I have all of my greens, blues, violets, and the rest of my earth tones. And those are mostly Daniel Smith. There are some PWC, some Rembrandt and stuff in there. Down here I have a laminator. I have a giant palette thing from Cheap Joe's. You guys, I did a video on that a few years ago. Some of this deli paper I was using for some art projects, and laminating paper, stuff like that. I have a ton of Petoskey stones there in that bag. Those are all Petoskey stones. And then this is my collection of jelly roll pens. And I have a super spirograph that I use for meditative exercises. Every now and then I'll pull it out. Then I have Arteza watercolors that I do not recommend. These are the tube ones. They say you're supposed to only use them wet, not dry, because they won't work dry. They have their water pens, their brush pens. I did a video on those. These were all given to me for review. This is the set of 60 gouache, which is nice to have. And then I had the sets of 24 gouache that I had given 5 of those away. So that's all in here. And, oops, let me put my markers back. And then up here is my washi tape collection. These are 3-drawered acrylic boxes that I got. They're just cosmetic boxes. You can get them on Amazon. They're just this big, you know, they're about 8 inches. And I keep all of my various washi tapes in there. And I try to keep them in their sets. Then when I'm journaling, if I'm traveling and journaling, I just wrap tape around some business cards that I covered in plastic. And then I've got tape I can stick in my journal to use for when I'm journaling. I haven't been journaling much lately though. And then I've got these. I love these ones, these brown ones. I'm really into the brown paper ones. Haven't been doing much though because I got the Zinnia app and I was doing online journaling, and their washi tape is all digital. So this is my entire collection of washi tape. Then I've got lots of plants. I'm a plant fanatic and they love it in here. This is the light that you guys used to love at my old studio. It sits in the corner right now. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. Maybe I'll move it over here. I'm not sure. I have my coat rack over here. That was a shelf that my father made, and then I bought some coat hooks and added them on, and then Pat hung that for me. And this is a bag that I made. I knitted it and then felted it, and it's nice and big. It's great for travel and stuff. Some books. Down here I've got more rags and lab coat that I use as like an apron when I'm oil painting or acrylic painting, that kind of thing. And that is it for over here. And then we are back to my workstation again. So you guys, this is it for my studio tour. I don't think I missed anything. And I have my Create sign up. So it's all finished and hanging above my TV where I wanted it. I think that was a good spot for it. Turned out. I'll just give you one more quick look around. So now that I'm done, I'm just going to put my feet up. I'm waiting for my cleaning ladies to come to clean my house. No, they do not clean my studio, unfortunately. But that's it for the studio tour. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it wasn't too long. It probably was. So today I also took my bandage off of my finger. And as you see, I have the big bandage on my finger. I took it off and washed my hand and was going to go bandage it up because I said I didn't need to wear this after 2 days or a day or whatever. And I waited like 36 hours and went ahead and tried to put a bandage on it. And all I did was go to tear a Band-Aid open with my fingers and my knuckle bent and popped all the glue open. So it is entirely open again. So I have it set as straight as I can get it, as stiff as I can get it, so that it will heal shut on its own. I am not going back to that hospital for stitches. I knew I needed sutures. I knew it. And I even said to the doctor, I said, "Are you sure that glue's going to hold?" "Oh, yeah, we use it all the time. We use it in surgery, yada, yada, yada." And I'm like, "It's on my knuckle. My finger's going to bend no matter how hard I try to keep it straight." Nobody's finger. You can't keep your first knuckle straight. You guys try it. Your index finger. Try to hold it straight, perfectly straight, without bending it, and then do something with your other fingers. It will automatically bend, no matter how hard you try not to bend it. So, aside from putting popsicle sticks on it or something and taping it up that way, I just put this bandage back on. I was really bummed. So now it's open, which means it's going to take even longer to heal, probably a couple weeks rather than a week. I'm really bummed out, but that's all right. It's just a finger, so no big thing. That's pretty much it, you guys. So remember, be courageous, paint with wild abandon, and most of all, be kind to each other. Take care. God bless you. Say goodbye, Diesel. Oh, you guys got the evil stare.